Yep.
Good. Welcome to H&S. We're going to have Dex over here. We got some questions from some of our dealers across the country, some of our good customers. Put together a list of questions for us to answer, so we'll just start slinging through them. Here we go.
Yeah, we had a lot of customers ask us questions, and we want to just give you guys the answers to them live so that we don't have to answer them 400 times. And a lot of people have been calling and want us to answer their specific ones, so we're going to pick a couple of people's questions and see what we can't do to get some information out there.
All right, guys, here we go. Starting with some questions from Thoroughbred Diesel. Bentley, when is the dual fuel kit that they have going to be ready, and what will the price range be?
Dual fuel kit we're working on right now for the LML and the Ford Powerstroke. They both should be released about the same time. We're hoping 30 to 60 days we'll be shipping. Right now we're just waiting on some production pieces to get finished machining, stuff like that. Pricing, right now we're looking anywhere from $2,500 to $3,000. It'll be a retail price.
All right, Casey, when will the MCC software be made available for the LML Duramax?
No exact time frame on that, but we're going to be testing it out today, seeing what it can do. Still, our engineers are working on the software. There's a lot of things that have to happen from beta all the way to production release, but it is in process. It is at the front of the line right now. I know Bentley's been toying with it back and forth, just finding what tables everybody wants. Got a couple of people playing with it, but look for it very soon.
Very soon. There are a lot of things behind the scenes of MCC that the end user won't see. That's what we're working on, making sure the file, when it flashes to the truck, will actually start and run. So that's where we're at right now.
Perfect. Peyton, when will there be shift-on-the-fly capabilities for the LML?
When?
When and will?
Well, it's something we've obviously spent a lot of time on already. It gets kind of put on the back burner with other stuff, with other projects we have, new releases of new vehicles. So it's something that's still on our table. It's one of those things that's so labor intensive of software development. These guys just have to spend a ton of time on it. So
and I think what our users need to understand is shift on the fly. It's not something that we can just turn on within the ECM. It doesn't exist. It's something that we create from scratch. Code has to be written. It's basically hacking the ECM, and what the manufacturers are starting to do is take what we've done in the past and turn those things off so that we can't do that. I think it'll happen. When? Who knows? Like Peyton says, there's 400 other projects ahead of it right now. When a 2013 model comes out, that's really what we need to be working on to get that out. It's not that we don't want to perfect the old things, it's just that we could bang our head against the wall for a year and we don't even know that it's possible at this point. So Let's work on things that we can actually use and people can buy now and be happy with. So at some point we'll hopefully get that, but no guarantee.
Zane, was the stock Charger tested prior with the dual fuel setup? If so, what was the result?
We did when we put the dual fuel setup on it and got the tuning where it needed to be. We did put it on the dyno. It made right around 560 horsepower, and it just kind of flatlined the power curve. So at that point we knew we had more fuel, but it was out of air. Hence that's why we put some more air on it to see how far the engine would actually go.
So just bolting it on, we made a little bit more power just bolting the second pump on that, correct?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, prior to the pump we were maybe 480, 490 horse on this truck. So we made a good 50 to 80 horse just doing the dual pumps on it.
Yeah, so same exact tune, same day, same everything, bolted on, and we made an extra 80 horse. So that right there tells you that the CP4 just won't keep up with commanded fuel.
The volume is just not there with the CP4.
Great pressure, but it's not conducive to making big power. So hence the reason why we added another CP3 on top. So should have plenty of fuel.
Pump kit's definitely a great power adder just in itself.
Yep. So it makes it run a lot cleaner. You can run higher pressures without falling off. So yeah, like Zane said, I think just that pump kit might be enough power for a lot of people out there. So.
Casey, how much horsepower do you expect the BMF wheels to add?
At least 100. Blake guaranteed me at least 80. So if we don't get to that 80 point on these wheels, I think they're going back. I mean, we kept the boxes in case we need to send them back. So if we don't get 80 to 100 horsepower out of those wheels, ship them back. We don't want them. No, just kidding. They look great on the truck. People have given us crap. Oh, that has nothing to do with power, but you got to look pretty. So BMF always hooks us up, so we got to take care of them.
Definitely a good looking wheel.
For sure. Can't go wrong with BMF.
Yeah, change the truck completely. Look kind of grandpa style before. Now it looks aggressive and it's a sharp truck. So.
Okay, a couple more questions from Thoroughbred Diesel. Zane, has the head been studded on this truck?
No, it's not. The motor is completely stock, just like the Scorpion. No head studs, no rods, no pistons. The motor's never been apart. The valve covers have never been off. The injectors have never even been out of the motor. Completely stock.
All right, Bentley, the last question from Thoroughbred Diesel. What other products will H&S Motorsports be coming out with?
We've got a lot of plans in the works right now for H&S Motorsports. We're not going to give away all our secrets what we're working on, but of course you can expect some fueling upgrades, some turbo upgrades, little pieces of hardware here and there to bolt on, quick bolt-on pieces. If you want more information on what H&S Motorsports is doing, sign up for the H&S Motorsports newsletter, and we'll of course send out some information when that product is available.
All right, guys, we've had some questions be sent over from Diesel Tech Magazine. We'll start on those ones with Zane. The LML hasn't been really pushed by too many people yet. What is your biggest concern or unknown heading into Breaking Point 2?
You know, that's hard to say because all these parts are factory produced at like mass quantity levels. And you get some good ones and some bad ones. We've seen some stuff in the past that probably shouldn't have failed that failed. And we've seen stuff that lived through what it shouldn't have lived through. You know, so be it a piston rod, head gasket, you know, whatever happens to break or let go, even if it's something little. I mean, we could break a rocker arm or something.
My whole theory is,
You know?
why do they have a service and a warranty department at the dealership? Parts just break. They break for no apparent reason.
Yeah.
Stock trucks right off the showroom floor with a grandpa driving it could melt a piston. So,
Exactly.
you know, hopefully we got a good one. Hopefully everything holds together with what we need. The abuse it's taken already, I think, proves that it's, you know, we got a pretty good solid motor to start with. So,
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, we've pushed it a little bit already, and it's still purring like a kitten, so to speak. So.
Yep.
All right, another question from Diesel Tech Magazine. Bentley, did it surprise you how well the stock transmission held on the 6.7 Power Stroke on your last run?
Of course, we were extremely surprised with the amount of torque that transmission would hold. Of course, given it was tuned pretty heavily with the MCC software, we ran a lot of line pressure and a lot of modifications to that calibration to actually hold the power, but still, those stock clutches to hold 1,600 plus foot-pounds of torque, it was very incredible. We're
nuts.
impressed with the Ford transmission.
Oh, yeah. And it still has that mechanical limit.
Yes.
There's a pressure spring in there. It can only apply so much pressure.
Yeah,
so
so
it's
with
definitely awesome.
minor modifications, I think that transmission is pretty bulletproof. I think
yeah.
pretty much other than extreme just quarter-mile drag racing for a street transmission, I don't know that you could break that thing. Little minor mods, so it's been a
Bentley
great
can't break it.
transmission.
Nobody can break it.
Yeah, and it did live. It obviously slipped on the dyno, but backed it out. Bentley was doing burnouts in the parking lot on that truck later. So I mean that's a pretty good testament that Ford did an excellent job on that transmission.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Agreed.
All right, a few more questions from Diesel Tech Magazine. Zane, if you could redo Breaking Point 1, is there anything that you would have done differently for the first one that you didn't think of about or realize until you were in the middle of the event?
For sure, we probably would have put a little bit better nitrous setup on the truck, so we didn't have the downtime of having to change the solenoids out, change the jets out. We didn't know where that was going to go, you know, because we'd already tried to test the truck to its limits, push it to its limits, and break it, and it didn't break. So, you know, Bentley was like, well, let's put a little bit of nitrous on it and see what it does. Only, let's do it in front of the camera. So we were like, okay, let's try it out. You know, so there was some other things we could have had and done, probably have been a little bit more prepared, which we are this time, obviously. And
Well, I think
hopefully it was
the
good.
feedback coming back was 50-50. Some guys love to see, well, what does it take to throw nitrous on it? What are these guys doing behind the scenes that we never see? So it was, a lot of guys loved it. Other guys, they were just there taking their lunch break to watch it to break, to blow up. So, you know, kind of hit and miss. Some guys loved it, some guys hated it. So, you know, obviously from a viewer standpoint, we don't know what we would have done better because we heard mixed emotions, but we definitely are a little bit more prepared as far as mechanically to start throwing NOS and power and things like that. And, you know, just from the technical standpoint, the cameras. Breaking Point 1 was kind of a, let's throw it together and do it and see if anybody's even interested in it. And we had so many viewers that, you know, we had the server go down for a minute, we had camera angle issues, we had sound issues. And it was such a huge response that we went out and spent the money and bought some better cameras, some sound equipment. We got more guys running it for us. You know, the whole experience will be night and day different. So, video quality, we've got true HD. I think it's going to be fun to watch. So we've got multiple cameras that we can shoot different angles. We've got people mic'd so you can hear that. Holy crap, that thing just blew up. Whatever it is, it's the whole experience is going to be better.
I'm not only excited to do it, but I'm excited to go back and watch it.
We're excited to watch it just as you guys are, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, another question from Diesel Tech Magazine. Bentley, what is the biggest challenge you face with the newer model diesel trucks?
Well, the biggest thing we run into with the new diesel trucks is complexity of the ECM. With each new year, of course, emissions get stricter. They have more cross checks and balances in the ECM, and they also have security stuff in it they put in to lock us out. So with every year, you've got all those hurdles to get over before we can even get in to tune the truck. I mean, tuning, yes, it's important, but to even get in there and actually make those modifications and have it run on the truck, that's a huge hurdle for us every year.
Tuning is the easy part, I would say.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's a whole nother language. Every time you open up a new vehicle, a different ECM, you look at the files inside, and a lot of times you're just scratching your head. I've never seen anything like this before. So, you know, the behind the scenes of what happens before the public ever sees it is thousands and thousands of hours of going line by line through code and just trying to sift out, okay, is this a fuel map, a turbo map, what is it, and what does it do? Does it do anything? So
just the sheer size of files, you take and look at an older, like a 6-liter Power Stroke or something, you're talking, you know, a half a megabyte. New trucks like this 2013 Cummins behind us, you're talking 4 megabytes. I mean, they've gone 8 times larger on file size just to get the same, you know, running truck. So that tells you how much data we're going through to do what we do.
That's crazy. I don't know how long I've sat here and watched those guys beat their heads against the wall.
oh yeah,
Trying to figure out code and like, why is it doing this?
eyes get bloodshot and
All 4 monitors.
yeah. So I mean, it takes some time, and you know, in the past, it's hey, let's just turn up the fuel to 150 milligrams, well, or 150 millimeters, and you can't get it, and why? There's just lines and lines of codes you got to figure out. Okay, where's it stepping through, and why is it limiting it on boost or fuel or what have you? And it literally is hours and hours.
Oh yeah.
So
It's insane.
All right, a couple more questions from Diesel Tech Magazine. Peyton, what are some of the most common mistakes people make when adding additional power to their trucks?
Oh, a lot of people seem to overlook like a transmission. They'll put a ton of power, a ton of money in the engine bay, and they'll have a stock transmission, or a lot of money in turbo or pump setups, and then they have, you know, stock head studs. Another thing I see is, you know, tuning. A lot of tuners don't understand that you need to have the fuel pressure there. Fuel pressure is just one of the most, I would say, crucial things to have as far as making power.
Yeah, if you don't have the pressure behind that injector, you can open the injector as long as you want. You're not going to deliver the fuel you need.
Right.
So that's one thing everyone that tunes needs to make sure they understand. If you're not maintaining rail pressure, you're doing yourself no good.
I think the biggest mistake I see on a daily basis is somebody buys 20 different parts and they all throw them on the truck at once, and then when it doesn't run, they're just scratching their head going, well, what caused it?
That's a good point.
I don't know. Then we got 20 things to figure out. I always recommend, let's start small. You know, throw one part on at a time. Did that work? Yep. Throw another part on. Did that work? Yep. Obviously, there's things, you know, head studs, things that are internally. If you got the motor apart, yeah, let's do them all at once. But when you're talking of bolting several different pieces on, it's so hard to troubleshoot if you do it all at once and you have no idea where to start.
Yeah, just too many variables.
Yeah,
in there.
yeah, and,
Sure.
and people just drop $10,000-$12,000 on every part possible when they don't even need it. You know, a guy's buying head studs that's only going to be adding 60 horsepower.
Well, look at this. This truck's got stock injectors. You know what I mean?
Stock injectors, stock head studs, stock
Exactly.
a lot of parts, and it's still making huge power. So my suggestion for everybody would always be start small and then build from there.
And it's got to be a combination of things.
Yes.
Not just one. We can't just buy a big injector and be like, I'm going to get 100 horsepower from this.
Yeah.
Yep.
You've got to get the, like Peyton said, the turbo, the tuning, everything's got to come together to make it run.
I see it every day on the
You know?
forums. I got 80 or 100 horsepower injectors. Why can't I make power? You have a stock fuel pump. The stock fuel pump can barely keep up with stock injectors. So, you know, it's got to be a calculated plan of your fueling and your air, and build it step by step. You can't do one part that's, you know, times 100 and another part that's times 2 and expect it to play nice together. So, you know,
And
build it
there are
slow.
a lot of experts out there that should be able to help you, lead you in the right direction as far
sure.
as a turbo and fuel system combination that's going to work well together for your needs and for your goals
Definitely,
on your truck.
definitely. A lot of our shops that we sell to daily, they're a great source of information. Call them up and say, you know, hey, what's your goal for horsepower? And they'll be able to steer you into, you know, if you need a single turbo, a compound turbo, dual fuel, or a single upgrade. You know, those guys are the experts on it. They do it every day. So if you don't know, I would definitely get a little bit of help, and that'll solve millions of problems up front.
All right, last couple of questions from Diesel Tech Magazine. Bentley, what impact will the 1500 Ram diesel have on the aftermarket industry, and how long will it take for H&S to develop aftermarket parts for this truck?
We are very excited for the new half-ton diesels. We've already got one on order waiting for it to come here. We're here in the next few months. They should be starting to ship, and we should see one. Of course, we expect it's not going to compete with the heavy-duty market. Most of the guys that are buying these might just tow a small trailer, a boat, or something like that. But we do see it competing a lot with the EcoBoost. We are extremely excited to be able to tune on it, see what kind of turbo and fueling hardware they're going to come with from the factory, and see what we can do. As far as the time frame, obviously we're limited where we don't know what the truck is going to have. We don't know what it's going to take to get into it. So as far as ECM, turbos, fueling, all that, we're right where you guys are at. We have no idea what's going to be on it. So we're excited.
Well, we've even seen factory inside information either at SEMA or go to a factory and kind of get some behind the scenes information, only to find out that when they actually release the first truck to the public, it has nothing on it that they were showing us 6 months earlier. So really, until we buy one and have it in the shop, I mean, all bets are off. Let's get it here and find out. But you know, we'll definitely keep everybody informed as possible and keep the information flowing. And you know, if we have a product that's in development, we want you guys to know about it. So we'll keep everybody posted.
All right, last question from Diesel Tech Magazine. Zane, with the diesel industry, our diesel aftermarket industry booming, other than a good school, what advice can you give to people who want to get into the industry and becoming mechanics?
I would say your best bet would be to sell insurance. No, really, it's kind of hard to say because some of us all come from different backgrounds. You know, you have to have the determination and drive to do it and the passion for it. I wouldn't say don't just do it because you think it's cool because it looks cool. You know, make sure that's what you want to do. Good trade school, obviously, you know, would help if you don't have any kind of background or knowledge. I just kind of dove into it and learned it on my own, so to speak.
Yeah, most of the guys that are our age kind of just learned it. They started at a shop sweeping the floors, and then before long, you know, they're getting help putting motors together and things like that. So that's always going to be, I think, the best way to start. And if you like it, yeah, then go to school and work your way up from there. But, you know, see if you can get on at a local shop just helping out, and you may hate it or you may love it. But
it's almost an art form. I mean, some people love it and some people just can't do it no matter how hard they try. It takes a certain person.
And that's the thing, is you can't just jump right into cracking open the ECM and figuring out what's going on. You've got to understand how the whole truck works and how it's going to react to the changes you're making. You know?
Exactly.
So starting at a shop and getting that basic mechanical knowledge, I think, is a really good way to get started.
And patience. If you're not a patient person, go elsewhere, because I mean, I don't know how many times I've seen Zane either take a motor apart or put something all together only to find out that, you know, something failed or whatnot, and then the next morning it's coming back apart again. So if you don't have that patience for it,
There's
look somewhere else.
That, but yeah, we all started at the bottom.
Yep.
We all started sweeping floors. We all started at the bottom, just worked our way up. We all didn't just jump into this where we're at now.
Nope.
You know, it's taken 10 years, 15 years, whatever it's taken all of us to get to where we are now.
Yeah, you can't learn every motor, every ECM, everything overnight. It's a long process, but definitely if it's something that you have passion about, I say go for it.
All right, jumping over to some questions from customers over at Complete Performance. Bentley, Alan Smith asked, where are you headed in the direction of custom tuning other than just a plug-and-play box tune?
As many of you I'm sure know, we do offer MCC tuning for anyone that wants to custom tune their vehicles. We do get a ton of requests here, and they say, hey, will you build me a file? Will you do this? Will you do that? You know what? We would love to cater to everyone, but you guys need to understand that if we take time away from our 2013 Cummins to build a file for someone else, it takes away from this product being developed. So that's where we've came out with that MCC software, so you guys can take on your own truck that you drive and you understand what you want, you tune it how you need it. So that's where MCC is really going to take its place in the custom tuning market.
For sure. And you know, we've learned over the years what people like and what they don't like, what works, what doesn't work. So we've taken a product that was really broad and we've narrowed it down to what people really like, and that's taken years and years of just complaints and raves and what we like and what they like. You know, we can develop a product and we think it's perfect, we put it out in the world, and 100 people are going to hate it. So a box tune is going to get maybe 90-95% of the people covered. They're going to like it, they're going to love it. But you know, the guys that really want to squeeze every last bit of performance out, that MCC tuning is going to be awesome for them. We've got a few platforms out there now, but like Bentley says, it just takes time to develop, and we're slowly, as we can, adding new vehicles. LML obviously is on the plate next, so as we can, we'll definitely like to add more. So
It's a perfect product for a guy that's building something that's way over stock.
For sure.
You know, like our Dodge race truck, perfect. All
Yeah.
tuned with MCC software.
Yep.
Nothing special in there.
yeah, it's
There's
awesome.
no smoke and mirrors.
People
Yep.
don't believe it, but
Yeah,
that's all we use.
Peyton drives the truck, tunes the truck. When he gets out, if there's something that he feels isn't quite right, gets the laptop, MCC. If you guys are at the races, go check it out.
Watch me do it.
MCC, directly right off the website. You can download it, buy it. It's no different than anything else out there. So, one of the things that we see daily as well is, hey, I want more power. Well, say like on this truck, the LML or the 6.7 Ford, yeah, we could add about another 30 to 40 horsepower, but we're right on the ragged edge of running out of fuel. And because the differences, like Zane said, in just the manufacturing process, one guy's truck might run awesome. He'll get that full 40 horsepower out of it. The next guy, his pump won't keep up, so he's
He'll lose
actually
40
yeah,
horse.
he's going to lose 40 horse. So we've got to get right to that edge to where everyone's going to get full power of what the tuning does, and that's where MCC comes in. If you want to add a little more fuel, add it. If it doesn't work for you, you can back it back off. When you add that second pump, boom, add more power. You've got all the fuel that you need. So it really is, it's a huge tool for us, and that's one of the breakthroughs I think this year that has taken us over the top of is guys can actually now account for any part that they want, bolt it on there, and they can tune it themselves to make it happen. So
Sure.
And as time goes on, too, you see more and more people, other tuners, and other shops out there working with the MCC software.
yeah,
You know.
it's been slow. Obviously, there's other tuning suites out there that have been ahead of us for a few years, but our product support is climbing daily. We add maps. Bentley, I mean, the unique thing about how Bentley designed it is he can add new tables or new definitions just like
Minutes.
that. He adds it, you go update online, it's there. So we've definitely, I think, set the standard for being able to update tables and tunes and things like that, whereas, in the past it's taken months for other people. So
Yeah, we get requests almost daily. Hey, can you add this table or make this DTC so I can turn it on or off? And it's literally within 24 hours. We'll usually have an update online. They go fix it, and they're done.
Yep. So we're pretty excited about that.
All right, another customer over at Complete Performance, Casey. Blaine Hawkins asked, what future expansion to your product line do you plan on pursuing?
We talked a little bit about getting into the half-ton stuff. Bentley mentioned the EcoBoost. I've been driving one, been tuning on one. We've been playing with it for a while. It really just comes down to our company's built on what's new, what's hot, what's exciting. World leader diesel performance, to me, doesn't mean let's go explore a product that 17 other companies already make for. Everyone that wants a 5.9, well, there's already 5 other tuner companies that build it. We try to stay ahead. When the 13 models hit, it's not that we drop everything, but that's our next thing. We want to stay ahead. Let everybody else follow. We want to do that new vehicle. We want to have the tuning that allows you to do that new turbo, or we want to stay ahead of it. So, yeah, we definitely have plans for expansion into the gas market a little bit, the supercharged, the highly modified gas stuff. But really our core is diesel, and as long as that's keeping us busy, we're going to stay with that. But if at any point in time things slow down, we'd love to do gas and UTVs and Razors, Rhinos, things like that. There's all kinds of fun stuff we can play with, but we don't want to lose that core market and just become another tuner that does everything but nothing well. So.
All right, Zach Reinhardt from Complete Performance asked, Peyton, with current technology and the advancements in... All right, Peyton, Zach Reinhardt from Complete Performance. All right. With current technology and advancements in the diesel performance over the last 10 years, where do you see it headed in the next 10 years?
Oh boy. In 10 years, you'll probably be driving a factory 800 horsepower truck that produces 0 emissions. I don't know. Like Bentley was saying about the file size and stuff, every year it's just getting more and more complex. But the nice thing is, the emission systems kind of started out rough, but they're getting better to where every year these trucks have less issues with the emissions equipment and stuff. So that's a big progress I see right there.
Yeah,
sure.
and that's a hard question to answer because, like Peyton was saying earlier, that just to get into ECMs, I mean, that's a huge step. Every year we see more security, more steps to keep us out. And, you know, I see why is a lot of guys, you know, they miss the transmission. Okay, we're going to build a bunch of power, and then the transmission blows, and then they expect the dealership to pay for it. So I can see why the manufacturers are stepping up security and encryption and trying to keep us out. So, you know, maybe we can't do what we can now. We don't know. Maybe we can do more, but we'll find out, and we're excited about it. Every time a new model rolls in the door, everybody here gets all excited.
Oh, yeah.
And what are we going to be able to do to this thing? So, you know.
10 years is a long time. You look in the last 5 years just at the sound a diesel makes. Look how different that is. You drive a diesel, it almost doesn't feel like you're driving a diesel anymore. You can't hear it. So it's exciting to see what's going to happen in 10 years.
Definitely.
It's made leaps and bounds in the
Leaps and
last
bounds.
5 years.
Oh,
You know?
incredible leaps. Yeah, for 20 years there was really no change in diesels, and in the last 3 to 5 years has just been night and day. So we're excited about it. So this new half ton will kind of be the first step, I think, towards that new generation of diesels in the U.S. So.
All right, last question from Complete Performance. Zane, Tyler Carl asked, what engine do you prefer to work on?
Not a 7.3. Or anything with HEUI injection for that matter. I mean, but it's cool, again, talking about technology. These have grown in leaps and bounds in the last 5 years from what they were. You know, I really don't have a favorite one to work on. It's fun to see what each one of them will do. Every time we get a new one, the 6.7 Power Stroke, cool. Let's take this turbo off. This thing doesn't seem to work. Let's put a different one on. Let's put a better one. Let's put a dual fuel pump on. So I like working on all of them, really, just to see what each one can produce.
For sure.
All right, guys, last question. This is going to be for everybody. We're going to have a little bit of fun here, and we want to know what your guesses and predictions are on Breaking Point 2. How much power will the LML produce before a breakdown, and what part do you think will fail first? We'll start with Casey.
Oh, all right. Well, we're going to have to probably throw some NOS at it, I think, to break it. I think fuel only it's going to hold. I think fuel only we're going to get to maybe the 750 range, and I think everything's going to be just fine. The transmission should hold because it's built. I think the turbo's going to have no problems because Bentley's kind of working around the turbo as far as drive pressures, things like that. So I don't think we're going to have anything turbo related, things like that, but I think that once we start throwing some NOS at it, playing with a little bit of timing, I'm thinking that a rod's coming out the side. So
I think as far as horsepower wise, I'm expecting to see at least 750, just like Casey said, on fuel only. At that point, the injectors, I mean, obviously the Ford made 880 on the stock injectors. Stock injectors in this as well. I'm a little nervous at around the 800 mark, we're going to start getting pretty low on fuel delivery. We're going to have to extend the duration so far to where we're not real efficient on the engine. So I foresee fuel injectors being stock being the main culprit of what's going to hold us back from making real crazy big power.
So what's going to fail then?
What's going to fail? Honestly, that's hard to say. We got the built transmission. I see definitely head gaskets being an issue. Once we start running a lot of cylinder pressure, a lot of boost through there, head gasket's going to be one of the first things to go.
Well, I think they were all talking about this last night, and we didn't even realize, well, I didn't, that the intercooler might be an issue. So we may grenade the plastic piping on the intercooler, and they've already thought ahead. They've got a bypass pipe already built for it. So if the intercooler goes boom, don't get too excited because we can work around that and start adding some more power. But yeah, that could definitely be a limiting factor.
Yeah, like Casey said, this cold side of the intercooler is actually just have a plastic end cap, so who knows at what pressures that thing is just going to let go. Yeah. For me personally, I think this thing should make over 800 horse with a little bit of nitrous, and probably start puking a little bit of coolant over the overflow, but we'll just keep running it till something else goes, I think.
So how much boost are you guys planning on running?
Oh boy,
well,
what do you think these are going to make?
We shot for around 60. And what's cool on this truck is we got the divorce wastegate, which is behind the VGT to get rid of some of the drive pressure and invert it to the big turbocharger. So where Bentley's put the tuning with the VGT turbo, it's going to be real interesting to see what the actual drive pressures have. And we actually have a full data acquisition system on the dyno today.
So we're going to monitor
all boost pressure, all drive pressures, all that stuff will be monitored during the dyno run. So you know, if we have to make changes here or there with the wastegate or some of the tuning, we can.
Which brings up a good point of everybody just wants us to throw a 400 shot at it and go boom, and they're upset when it doesn't break. But again, it's the breaking point, and we're going to step this up. We're going to start with the stock tune, well, our just out of the box tune, and work our way up, because we want to know at what point where it fails, what fails. I think one of our guys said earlier, has kind of been the coin phrase of, if we would just want to blow it up, let's get a stick of dynamite, throw it in the tailpipe, and push it out the door. We can do that. I mean, at some point maybe, but you know, I think the breaking point is really more where it's at, and it's focused on the engine. You know, everyone knows at some point you're going to have to beef up your transmission. That's just a given. Turbo you're going to have to do, but we're trying to get away from, if you don't have to pull the motor apart and do rods at 600 horse, let's not do it.
Right.
So we're going to find out really what parts you're going to need and what parts you don't need. So,
And like we said last night, our goal is not to just blow it up.
Yeah.
That's not our goal. You know, we're adding products to this motor to get it up that level.
I want to blow it up. I know you don't want to blow it up.
We don't want to blow it up. You guys want to blow it up.
I'm not happy till something catastrophic happens.
It was
so.
painful putting everything together.
Only to
knowing that
watch
it's
it.
probably coming back apart.
And that's one thing different with the Ford and this truck. The Ford, we actually didn't design it to go into a breaking point scenario. So we beat on it for weeks on end, you know, testing and tuning and playing with it. This thing, you're going to see live what we learn. I mean, we haven't driven this hard like we have with the Ford because we don't want to break it yet. We want to see you guys with us to watch it break.
Yeah, there could
So-
be boost leaks. There could be all kinds of things. So kind of bear with us as we go. I mean, we'll tweak and tune.
What you're saying is, if the head gaskets start leaking, we're not going to stop.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
We'll just take that hose over there and run it right into the
We got water.
right
in
into
there.
the radiator.
If I got to
Turn
stand
it
there
on.
with a hose and spray it, I will do it. Just keep adding power.
Well, I think that's all the questions we had from our dealers. So we'll see you guys in about a half hour. Thanks for joining us.